Doing YouTube? It's Stash, the Polish vlogger, back after a long hiatus. I'm on because it's a very important day today for the Poles in Poland and the Polish Americans, or it should be for the Polish Americans as well. National Independence Day in Poland. Poland had ceased to exist for 123 years. Till the end of World War I. So it's huge. Photos of the celebrations over in Poland are impressive. I, for one, say showing some nationalist pride, nationalism and pride. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's sort of frowned upon in the United States, but what can I say? Also, happy Veterans Day to the vets of the United States and the free world. Not to digress, but World War I is one that people forget about a lot. I think something like 3,000 guys died every minute or something like that. Unprecedented for its time, and still in some ways even worse than World War II for some people. I don't think many Americans know anything about Poland. I think Polish discussion is kind of suppressed to, sports figures or jokes and things like that. Hollywood stereotypes, or sports figures of old, like Karl Yastrzemski or Gronkowski, but or date. Some people have contact with Poles and Polish Americans, and I think by and large they get along pretty well. Pretty easygoing people, hardworking. Anyway, I digress. It's very good that Poland still exists after what happened in the war, attacked both by Germany and Russia. And they're still standing. It is very impressive. As I've been on here vlogging, I want to thank anybody who's checked them out. I've got some good feedback on some of them, talking about the 303 Kosciuszko Squadron and Colonel Matt Irvine and Francis Gaby Gobretsky, great war heroes that I feel have kind of not gotten their due, in my opinion. And I talk about some negative stuff too. I ask people of Polish descent to reach out for me. How's your neighborhood doing? Are you from Philadelphia, from Chicago? I didn't really hear much back, so I took it that maybe things aren't going that good. But at least in the social media sites today in Poland has been massive. It looks like crowds of hundreds of thousands of people singing the national anthem, showing the red and white colors. It was tough. They were partitioned. They gained their freedom after 123 years being partitioned by three powers. A lot of the victory had to do with a tough guy that Americans don't know, and Polish Americans really don't. To me, they don't talk him up much. That's Marshal Joseph Pilsudski. Or if you're Polish, you should have a statue of him. What the heck? He won. He won against the tough Bolsheviks, tough army, Stalin and Trotsky. Very popular among elites here in the States. Let's face it. A lot of people like communism more than you would think, or they think they do, or and so it's controversial. America has kind of an underlining tradition of elites poo-pooing attacking, dismissing people's complaining about communism, and Poles are they weren't in a good position, so they got hit. and they won that time. Joseph Pilsudski. Actor Liam Neeson, I'm going to lead in liner notes. He does a good explanation of the so-called miracle of Vistula. But if you're Polish and you know more than I do, then send me some links and talk this up. I think people should be doing it, whether or not you do a sloppy vlog like me, or tell your friend, get out there and talk it up, because why not? Reach out, debate and discuss it with your Russian friends. It's time to make some peace. That I don't agree with. I agree with nationalism, and I don't think they had any choice when Stalin wanted to invade and Pilsudski countered. And Marion Cooper, by the way, in the 303 Kosciuszko Squadron, the early founders took him on, and they won. And I think that was for the betterment. I think that would have spread throughout Europe and changed things. And I don't think the Poles get much credit for that, because I've said it before. Talking about this stuff isn't really that popular in Hollywood. By the way, any pictures or links to any artists and stuff that I have in this vlog, they absolutely, under no circumstances, agree with any of these blogging I'm doing, by the way. This is just from me. So if I have a pro Ron Paul one or whatever, it doesn't mean that he's talking up Pilsudski, although I hope Mr. Paul likes him, or I hope other guys do. Or if I'm talking about chemtrails or something, that doesn't mean that every Pole who admires Pilsudski agrees with my opinion on geoengineering and things like that I'll be vlogging soon about. But well, we still have a First Amendment. I think that whether you take hits and talk about stuff like this, you can't ignore the fact that this war and this victory by Pilsudski is not something that really has been hit upon. There's not huge movies about it. The Allies' relationship in World War II, which would soon follow these great victories by the Poles, and the Katian Forest, kind of a revenge for their victory, I suppose, at the miracle of Vistula, is just unknown virtually. Polish history is still unknown to Americans, except when it benefits some other, agenda, be it neoconservative or otherwise. So nobody's really been getting back to me. My Is Your Polish Neighborhood Breaking Down? A few people got back to me, and that's good. But I will redo that, or I put that offer out. Tell me what you're doing. Is there any Polish people still there? Is it way overdone? Jersey? What are you thinking? And how did you celebrate this November 11th? Independence Day for Poland, Polska. Anyway, 1,000 years Stolat. I'm going to continue to vlog on these. Some of mine have been, I guess censored or whatever, but, it's history, man. The restoration of Polish history is history. There's some news stories that saying there's a lot of far-right guys and fascists. I mean, how many? And you got to ask yourself, in Poland, they don't like Nazis and stuff like that. They're not a huge fan of fascism. They lost pretty much half their people from that stuff in World War II. So, by and large, you're not a huge fan of that kind of stuff. And I don't believe some of those news stories entirely. Is there some guys? Sure. Is there some guys over here that do stuff like that? Yeah. Should they? I mean, I don't know. By and large, people don't like it, especially because of the history of World War II. All right, Polish people, let me know. Show me links to stuff that's about Polish Independence Day. If you're from Poland, give me a shout. Happy Veterans Day. Above all, the new thing should be to have dialogue and make peace. I think Polish nationalism is good, but not at the expense of getting in another fight with Germany or Russia again. That kind of stuff needs to be discussed. Alright, this is Stash, the Polish blogger. Okay, I'm very proud today, in any case. Learn about Piłsudski. He won that one. National independence. Thanks, Mel Gibson, for making that thing. 123 years. Thanks very much. Thank you, Liam Neeson, for that one explaining the miracle of Vistula. God bless you guys. Take care.